story. And this is my song. I love that. I want to thank Greg Walker for giving me some more love. You know, while he was singing the song, I don't know if you were listening to the lyrics. One of the things he said is that I am an heir of salvation. And that kind of stood out for me as I thought about this topic and today, that we are all heirs of salvation. And if you really believe that, that means that on some level you have, or you should at least have, an expectation that as an heir that the divine is providing you with something. And at some point you should be ready to cash in and to receive it. And I'm not talking about the sometime when we transcend this experience and enter into the next. I'm talking about the here and the now. Yes. Our expectation should be here, and our ability to receive should be now. So let's stand up and let's stand out. I'd like for us to direct our attention this morning to a story that was shared in the book of Matthew. And it relates so vividly to this theme for this month. And in the story, it speaks of a centurion who goes to Jesus on behalf of his servant. The servant is sick, and so the centurion goes to Jesus and asks him to pray for his servant. And Jesus says to him, "Take me to the servant." And the centurion stops him and he says, "All I ask that you do is just speak the word." Now, this story demonstrates the power of belief, and it further illustrates how belief empowers one's ability to stand up and to stand out. Now, there are three takeaway lessons I'd like to share from the story. The first is the unlimited power inherent in our sacred word. Secondly, the benefit of conscious unity with God. And thirdly, what happens with our willingness to act. Now, let's begin with the first. The unlimited power inherent in our sacred word. Now, in this story, in this instance, the centurion realized the power of the word. When Jesus said to him, "Take me to your servant," he stopped him and said, "Listen, all I ask that you do is speak the word." Now, here's a man who went on to explain that he recognized what happens when you are in a position of authority. He said that, I'm an authoritarian figure here, and I command a whole multitude of men. When I say to one, go, he goes. When I say to another, come, he comes. And whatever commandment that I give unto these individuals, they carry them out. And I recognize that my word has power on the level in which I operate. And therefore, more importantly, I recognize that your word has even greater power from the place that you operate. And from that place, I'm requesting that you just speak your word. Now, something then happens when a word is spoken from a sacred place. Something transpires, something takes place, something miraculous happens. And this individual realized that, and that's why he asked Jesus just to do that. That there is power in the word that you speak. Now, why would he think this, or why would he realize that there was so much power in this word that Jesus speaks? Because going to the second lesson, he understood that Jesus spoke from a place of his unity with God. That when you speak from this place of your unity with the divine, your word carries a lot more weight, it carries a lot more influence, and it has a greater degree of power. We're all speaking words all the time. And we're all just making noise so often. But what happens when we begin to understand that we are speaking from our understanding of being in the presence of God? We are speaking from a place of our unity with the divine. And therefore, the word that we speak should be a powerful word that causes something to happen as the result of that word spoken. We set something in motion when we speak a word. See, the difference that happened here is that Jesus absolutely believed in the word that he spoke. And so often we do not. You know, we're quick to talk about how much we believe in God. We're so quick to talk about, how much we love God. But what happens when we unite with God? See, we have to transition from this place of belief to a place of real acceptance. And in that place of real acceptance, something needs to happen in our circumstance when we speak to it from a sacred space. When we unite, and we do it so often by saying that right where we are, God is. That if we're in the divine presence, and we united so completely with that presence, and we are speaking out of that presence, then our expectation is our words should carry power. That as we are sending it forth, we are expecting it to accomplish something. That there should be just a great deal of success. Something needs to happen other than, once again, just nothing. The third takeaway, what happens in our willingness to act? In this instance, this servant got well. He got cured. All of a sudden, he was made better because the centurion acted on his behalf. He went to Jesus and he said, speak this word to make this man well. Jesus complied with that request and he spoke the word. And as a result of that word spoken, something happened. And the thing that happened was this individual was indeed made whole. What happens if we all leave out of here today with a different level of expectation of the words that we speak on our own behalf? Just think back for a moment. How long have you been coming to church, listening to lessons, and individuals talk to you about your inherent power? Leave that space, go to the next space, and do nothing. For how long shall you continue to operate that way? And then think that you're going to draw someone else to that same wellspring that you get your inspiration. Why would someone else want to be inspired by whatever it is that's inspiring you when there is no demonstration as the result of your inspiration? Why would that be an attraction to someone else? And it really should cause you to ponder, why is it an attraction to you? See, we don't come to a moment like this because we have nothing else to do, I would hope. We don't come to a moment like this because we need another social event on our calendar. I would like to think that we come to an instance like this because we want to receive another level of inspiration.
Yes.
We want to take ourselves to the next level of our unfolding.
Yes.
Because we are convinced that there is, in fact, more.
Yes.
That some way, somehow, the presence, the power, the activity of God is continuing to pour out itself into our experience, and we're trying to catch more of it.
Yes.
It's like maybe at that last lesson I didn't get as much as I could have. But today I came with increased capacity to receive.
Yes.
And as a result of that increased capacity today, I came that I might absorb more. Yes. I need to understand how my word impacts my circumstance. So that as I leave out of here today, I begin to speak it directly into my circumstance with the expectation that change is going to happen. Change for the good, change for the better. Dr. Ernest Holmes comes along and he shares his word with us out of his book, Words That Heal. He said that the living spirit is incarnated into every man's soul. That the entire nature of the divine being is bequeathed to us. And that there is a law of spiritual authority which is at our command. Now, that's an interesting concept. There is a law of spiritual authority that is at our command. Which means that there is something that is awaiting your command. Something that is awaiting you to speak it into action. To speak it on your behalf. And upon you making this declaration of truth into the seeming nothingness, something then should take place. Now, we reach a point that we ask ourselves, do I believe this or I don't believe it? If I believe it, then something about that compels me to put it into action. If I believe it after putting it into action, my expectation is heightened. That my level of demonstration is going to be greater. Because when we hear words of truth, something about that word that's spoken resonates with us on a certain level. Whether it's validated by someone or someone else outside of ourselves makes no difference. The validation is within ourselves. Yes. There is something within us that says, yes, that is right. Yes, I need to put that in motion. Yes, if I put that in motion, something will happen for me immediately. And then we act upon that. Now, that requires a level of belief. And one of the ancient writers said this, to as many as believed, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. Oh, so that's how that happens. So that's how that works. So belief has to be something more than a word. It has to be a practice. It has to be something that I accept. It has to be something that is real to me, because when it's real, I'm going to put it in motion. And in putting it in motion, I expect to receive the benefit of their action. That I can speak something now, realizing that I'm operating from a law that says I have spiritual authority. Why have I denied myself for so long? Have we ever asked ourselves that? Yes. Why have we denied ourselves for so long? Well, while we may not get an answer to that right away, what we do know is there's no need for us to deny ourselves any further. Today is our day, and now is our moment. That we will speak, we will make a deposit into the divine mind with an expectation that something returns to us as the result of that deposit made. Let's all take a deep breath. And let's just relax in this divine presence. And let's activate this law of spiritual authority and speak a commandment into our own understanding. I'm going to speak this affirmation, and then I ask that you speak it after me. Today I am lifted into a greater awareness. Today I am lifted into a greater awareness of my spiritual understanding. Of my spiritual understanding. God in me. God in me. Working as me. Working as me. Empowers me. Empowers me. And fills my being. And fills my being. With illumined light. With illumined light. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And just breathe again. And let that resonate within your own consciousness as we release it into this space. And reflect on what it is that we've just said. We've just spoken something into our own understanding, and the word that we spoke was that we are now lifted into a greater spiritual awareness. In other words, we want our understanding to become more expansive than it was prior to this moment. That there is some divine enlightenment that is taking place in this place, and we are allowing ourselves to be filled with that enlightenment. A new idea, a new understanding, a new way is coming to us, and is coming to us in a way in which we can receive and understand. And not only receive and understand, but then to put it into motion. Because the inspiration that we get does not benefit us unless we put it into motion. I can stand here all day and talk to you about the power of your word, but unless you speak it, nothing happens.
That's right.
But as I share this inspiration with you, and something within you says, yes, that's real, that yes, I can identify with that. And not only shall I identify with it, but yes, now I shall put that into motion. That you begin to speak something into your own circumstance. Whatever your special need may be, to realize that by divine authority that is within you, the gift that God has granted unto you, you now speak a new word into your own understanding and allow that word spoken to bless you. Imagine, we all go out of here with a blessing today. We all go out of here more empowered today. We all go out of here more uplifted today. And not only do we go out with a blessing, but now we go out with something to share. There may be an instance that we may be in. A centurion of sorts may come to us. That is, another person come to you and say, pray for my mother, pray for my brother, pray for my sister, pray for my child. And in that moment, you will stand right here and say, right where they are, God is, and I declare that everything in their experience is well. And believe it. And then go your way. That really speaks to your belief and acceptance that you are in the midst of all the power that there is. You're standing in the divine presence, and you are allowing that divine power and presence to flow through you. You are allowing that which you are hearing, that which you are feeling, and that which you are sensing to guide your word. Operating upon your faith, and then you expect things to change. The level of demonstration to increase. See, we are unable to truly demonstrate at a high level as long as we allow ourselves to remain consciously separated from the source of our being. Now, understand what I said. Consciously separated from the source of our being. We are not in operation, clearly understanding that it is not I, but it is the God that is within me that is doing the work. Now, how is that possible? Because I've arrived at that place of complete acceptance that the light within me is God in action as me. And what's going on in my mind is that the divine is feeding me intuitively what to say, what to do, and how to act, how to behave, where to go. You know, when we awakened this morning, before we even came to this space, there was some time in between arriving at church and getting out of bed where we had moments to just interact with ourselves, to bless ourselves, to alter our circumstance, to make a decree into this day, to seed it with whatever we desired our experiences to be. Now, what did we do at that time? Some of us did nothing. Just be honest, somebody just did nothing. We got up and we just went through our routine of whatever it is we do before we leave out of the house. Have not spoke a word on our behalf, but we expected a blessing to meet us when we arrived where we were going to. We didn't take the time to speak one into existence. Well, maybe we didn't know. And that's plausible. No longer after today. Prior to this moment, maybe we didn't know, but now we do know. And now that we know, what do we do with that? See, that's why I said knowledge is powerful. It is indeed that. Because now you've got something to do something with. Even as I'm speaking, the redeemed of God have got their imagination that's just roaring right now. They're thinking of all kinds of things. They're speaking things in mind. They're speaking ideas into their own consciousness. They're thinking about where it is that they want to go, what it is that they want to do, the level of success that is rightfully theirs, and then believing that it is all possible regardless of the appearance. See, the appearance has no power other than that which you give it. And you decide whether or not to empower it. Imagine, none nothing before us but prime opportunity. Nothing before us but blessings in the raw. Waiting for the formation of your word, for you to speak an idea into divine mind, knowing that the word that you speak acts as a seed of your desire. And as you speak it into your circumstance, you alter the course of all that is about you. Imagine having that gift and doing nothing with it. You know, it's the writings of the Apostle Paul in one of his letters to the Corinthian church when he said, you know, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. In other words, our weapons are not tangible things. They're not things that one can see with their eyes or feel with their hands. The weapons are spiritual entities. These are the ingredients that God has given unto us, and these are the tools that we use. And how better to use that tool than to speak something into formation? How better to use that tool than to speak your own blessing into your own circumstance? How better to use it than to realize that you've been anointed in such a way that you can be a blessing to people everywhere? All you have to do is be willing to do it. Have a willingness to act. And out of our willingness to act, we alter our entire circumstance. Let's take another deep breath. Relax once again in this divine presence. Knowing that God is everywhere present, God is here now. And let's speak another word into our circumstance. Today, I am lifted into a greater awareness of my spiritual nature. Now, just hold that idea. And in that place, say this word. I surrender completely to the Christ of my being. I release control and allow the divine to guide all that I do. Today, I move from glory to glory. God anoints me with greater power. And for this, I am grateful. And for this, I am grateful. Take another deep breath. And then reflect a moment on the words we've just spoken. We're letting go now. We surrender everything completely. Just let it all go. We put it in the hands that are higher and much more capable than our own. We're turning everything over to the Christ of our being, the Godhead of ourself, that place where there is nothing that is impossible, the place that cannot nor will it ever see limitation, nor be stymied by anything on the outside of me. I'm surrendering everything to that place. I'm releasing control. And for a lot of us, that's a difficult thing to do, because we feel that we control everything. But in this moment, allow yourself just to be vulnerable to the Spirit and allow God to be in control of it all. And then just have this feeling of movement from glory to greater glory. That there is, your understanding is unfolding to a much higher level. And in this new place, you are anointed with greater power. Your circumstance is now changing. You have altered the course of your experience for the better. You are in a better place now, a more powerful place. Now, when you realize consciously that you're in that place, the question that I pose to you is, what will you do? What will you do? And I'm not asking you to share that with me or anyone else. I'm asking you to share it with yourself. What will you do now? What will you do different than you did on yesterday? How will you think differently than you did on last night? Now that you're in a higher place, you move from glory to greater glory. You release, you let everything go, you let giving God complete control. And all you need to do is relax in a place of pure expectation. That something good is moving on my behalf as you sit here. You've been given something. What will you do with it? Now, quite honestly, some will do nothing. And that's their right. But some believe that life has something greater for them than what they've experienced to this moment.
Yes.
Are going to do something with that which they're receiving.
Yes, that's right.
In that place of their own intuition,
Yes.
the power and the presence of God is speaking to you in that place, giving you the word that you need to bless yourself. Causing you to understand that the gift has already been given. Everyone in here has a gift.
Yes.
The gift has been given. Many of us have been afraid to use our gift. And therefore we went and buried it. But today is a moment of resurrection. Today is a time to bring your gift back to the surface. And without fear, release it that it might bless your circumstance. To go out of this place today, believing, knowing, and accepting that a greater good awaits you. Without you placing any limits there. Don't begin to talk about how old you are. Don't begin to talk about what education you have. Don't begin to talk about what ails you. Talk about what level of success you wish to experience. As you have that gift, remember the writings of one of the scriptures in the Proverbs. It says that a man's gift will make room for him and bring him before great men. And we make it gender neutral. A person's gift will make room for them. Your gift makes room for you. And there is plenty of room. Your gift is operating in you, through you, right now. Your gift will allow you to stand up and to stand out. Allows you to be all that you can be and then some.
Yes.
I want you to leave out of here today speaking a new word, speaking a powerful word, speaking a word with the level of expectation that the word you speak will not fail you.
Yes.
But it is going into a creative medium that is receiving that word and doing something with it to cause you to receive a blessing.
Yes.
You go out and believing that this is a day that God has made for you, so be grateful in the day.
Yes.
Peace and blessings to you.